Hello everybody, Zeidoktor here, and this episode of Typical Manga Review is going to be dedicated to My Hero Academia, Chapter 131, A Hostile Fate. And we get a nice little double-page color spread here of Ida, Uraraka, Deku, Bakugo, Tsuyu, and Todoroki. All it's kind of marching forward. We get like a little plug for the second season of the anime coming up next month. And we're pretty much picking up right where we left off last chapter with Deku coming to the realization that All Might has been prophesied to die by Sir Night-Eye. Deku had kind of gotten the feeling about this before, like just from little things here and there, but at the same time, like actually hearing it has come from All Might himself. Like it just kind of cuts through him, kind of makes it more real for him. All Might continues his story, telling that he let Night-Eye know as soon as he met Deku and made up the mind to transfer his power to him, but Night-Eye was opposed to it, and it only drove them further apart. And Night-Eye is in fact showing him, like, yelling at him, like, "What were you thinking, a quirkless middle school student?" And All Might's pointing out he's someone who wants to protect others. Intentions aren't enough. That makes him befitting there are others too. Here there are certainly others. But he's a quirkless middle school student. He's a befitting candidate. And apparently Night-Eye thought he was making a fool of himself and took it upon himself to begin cultivating Togata, Mirio, who he believed to be the truly appropriate successor. Deku wants to know when Night-Eye used his foresight, when did he say what happened? Like, can it be changed anymore? All Might points out that it was 6 or 7 years from the point of the foresight that his death would happen within 6 or 7 years of the moment of his foresight. But there is a margin of error in his estimation of far-off events. But there's no changing what he sees in his foresight. And Deku realized that since this came about right after he got injured, this means 6-7 years. It means that his prophesied death should come within this or next year. But he's shocked. He's like, "No, Alma, you have to live. Do you remember the promise I made at the sports festival? I haven't been able to fulfill that promise. You have to live until I can fulfill it." And we see All Might tell him, "I want you to let the world know that you are here. You have to live to see that moment, and I can tell the world I'm here." Midoriya, my boy. You see, when I heard the foresight, I accepted it relatively easily. Because the goal was in sight, I ran full speed towards it. That time when I fought All for One at Kamino, that was when I thought, here is the goal. But there you were. You, a timid, quirkless boy who day after day rose to meet my expectations. And day after day I whispered to myself to keep on living. Then your mom told me to live on and protect and nurture him. And even now I am clawing on. You changed me. I am alive. And with this hand of mine, I will twist that fate into whatever shape I like. And he goes into like a very partial muscular form there, but still kind of a little bit more messed up than it has been before. And I always think that that's the true difference between himself and All for One. But turn after turn, I finally arrived at the conclusion. In the end, everything is still turning out exactly as Night-Eye said it would. And now I'm ashamed to look him in the face. And so I don't want to hold you back, especially when you are doing everything you can to become stronger. At this point, it's possible that it's too late to twist fate anymore. And Deku's thinking himself, they still don't know whether or not the foresight has changed, but that's alright. I promise, no matter what happens to you, I will twist it with you. Well, I'll try my best not to cause you trouble. They have like a nice little fist bump moment. At this point, Deku asks, can't you just get Night-Eye to use his foresight again? Go and make peace with him and have him see whether or not your future has changed. All Might's kind of reluctant. That'd be way too convenient. And it's a matter of life and death. I'll talk to him for you. Well, hang on. Think about Night-Eye's feelings for a moment. And right around that same time Deku's narration goes, there's a state of affairs gradually developing, and we get a little cameo from Attack on Titan as two giant quirk users are fighting beating each other up. Heroes have been called in. We're getting a girl charging in with a melody called Ring Wave. That's ring, W-R-I-N-G, like ring in a towel. And as they're like coming down, like we're like, hey, why are you fighting? It's because your quirks are the same, weirdos. That's right. It's Nejire. Hey girl, Hado. You 830, remember the big three. And she calls out now, and we get a nice little team attack from Uravity and Froppy. Uraraka and Tsuyu. Basically, Uraraka had a bunch of stuff above, and her and Tsuyu are sending it back down right where it needs to go. Apparently it's called Meteor Fafro Strikes. Not quite what sort to make of that one yet. I'll let the Viz version tell me. You did it! You did it! Were you nervous? But we're working on 2. You're like, we did it just like you said. We were able to do while staying surprisingly calm. And apparently, and their actual hero with them is the number 9 dragon hero, Ryuku. Like, now I understand what Nejire brought you to here. You both have aptitude. And they're giving their gratitude to her again. Yes, yes. Hey, Ryuku, did you know? Did you first year turned down by their field training host? First year didn't have a lot of accomplishments. Did you know that? But she's kind of ignoring. Like, maybe soon, as long as you're here for your work study, we will work to flourish your fighting ability. You may even be able to play a role in that case. And Uraraka wonders about that, but apparently they've been caught up in a team up request from All Might's former sidekick, Night Eye. And we get a nice little spread here of each of their characters and a nice little thing of their hero names in different fonts. So we've got Uravity and Froppy from a couple pages ago. We didn't get one for Ryuku, but that's alright. But we do also have Nejire-chan. Then in the middle there we have Red Riot, Kirishima, and Wallflower, Amajiki, whose hero name is Sun Eater. And then we also have at the bottom it's Sir Night Eye, Deku, and Lemillion. This is going to be one of those that's kind of confusing, but it's here in the actual text and it seems to be the same on both sides, so I'm assuming it's actually there. It's L-E million, like Lemillion. So, okay. And apparently they're all teaming up because the matter surrounding the villain designation of the Hashikai, or the 8 precepts of death, or 8-fold cleansers, whatever you want to call them. They're investigating them. It's a big job that may be connected to the League of Villains. And indeed, just on that last page, as the chapter ends, we see Overhaul coming face to hand with Shigaraki. And that is where the chapter ends. I said a quick chapter, but there was a nice moment with All Might and Deku here. Like, it really was like a nice moment between them. Like, Deku wants All Might to live to see them fulfill his promise to each other. And it's kind of fun. Like, a couple of forums, one of the forums I follow, point out that all the death flags that All Might seemed to have avoided before have just come back with a vengeance. Like everyone thought he was going to die fighting All for One. He's managed to survive that. Now we got Night Eye's prophecy making sure he'll probably die again. And apparently it's kind of answers part of my question earlier. Like, he can see Night Eye can apparently see further ahead, but I guess the further ahead you go, the more room for error you get. Like, the more possibility of inaccuracy. Same time though, it's kind of funny. It's like, the way I understand Night Eye's prophecy or foresight, it's like he'll see things, but he doesn't seem to see the context. Like, when he had his little matchup with Deku, it was like he could see exactly what Deku would be doing, but he didn't know why he was doing it. He didn't realize until after that the way he was positioned in his foresight was because of the smacking into the wall and avoiding the All Might stuff. So it's possible we might get a tricked out time scenario here where some condition pops up to resemble the prophecy, but otherwise subvert it. Big question is going to be whether or not he sees someone die at the hands of either Overhaul or Shigaraki. Because when that happens, if he recognizes the form of death, he's going to realize that's the person who's going to kill All Might. And that's where things are going to get tricky. And then I like getting to see like Uraraka and Tsuyu again. And they get to play with, hey girl. I'm never going to stop calling her that. I love that. Yeah, she's fun. Also get a little bit with Kirishima's probably going to get involved in this too, so that'll be cool. So I kind of wish we could get some of the others besides Kirishima, like somebody who hasn't gotten much spotlight yet, because he got some in the Bakugo rescue, we had Kaminari during the test, things like that. So, I don't know. Still, pretty cool nonetheless. And we also got the Wallflower's hero name, Sun Eater, which is actually a pretty badass sounding name. And the name implies that his power might be something to do with like actually devouring light or something darkness based, but hard to say. The names aren't necessarily indicative, so we'll see. Still pretty cool overall. Nice chapter. We get a nice little cliffhanger of Shigaraki and Overhaul, so hopefully we'll be picking up on that next week. But ladies and This chapter is mostly about Deku and All Might and them having their moment of bonding. Nothing really new came up from that other than the fact that All Might is really going to try and live. He's not going to let that prophecy come about anymore if he can help it, even if it might be too late. Still, I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to bring up here. I think I got everything covered on that. I think one thing I do like is that you saw the hero names in different fonts, was like just kind of a cool little touch. Like Nejire-chan's all bouncy and bubbly looking. Like Red Riot's all like kind of like a hard ass hero kind of name. Let's see what Ryuko's gonna be up to. That's gonna be pretty cool too. But I don't have a lot to say about this chapter, to be honest, so I'm just gonna go ahead and make this a quickie, call the review here, and again, it's My Hero Academia, chapter 131, Opposing Fate. Until next week, have a good time, and bye-bye.